Hello, I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Welcome to TCM, where throughout November, we are taking a look at films which have helped shape the culture. Earlier tonight, we had the 1932 picture from Warner Brothers, I'm a Fugitive from a Chain Gang. Up next from 1934 from Universal, this is the first version of Imitation of Life. Once again, I'm joined by film historian, writer, Professor Donald Bogle. Donald, great to see you, as always.
Great to see you, Ben. Always is.
So Imitation of Life, this 1934 version, of course, many people probably more familiar with the 1959 version, 25 years later. That was with Lana Turner and Juanita Moore. This is Claudette Colbert and Louise Beavers, Freddie Washington, also with a critical role in the film. What's its legacy?
This was a film that gave audiences a new view of Black America. The film, based on a novel by Fannie Hurst, a very successful writer. The movie deals with two women, one Black, one white, and they meet by chance. Each has a daughter to raise, and they don't have husbands. They're single mothers. And the two live together with their daughters, and their economic state changes because of a pancake recipe that the Black woman has. It's been in her family. Imitation of Life, I mean, it's touching on things without really elaborating, but the real thing that Imitation of Life gets at is when Louise Beavers' daughter reaches adulthood, and it's played by Freddie Washington, a light-skinned Black actress. And the daughter rejects her mother's submissiveness, and the daughter sets out to assert herself and to cross the color line.
I don't disagree with you that she rejects her mother's submissiveness, but really, I mean, what she is doing is rejecting her mother's Blackness, right? She wants to go through life as a white person, but she can pass as white. You don't see it that way? Am I wrong?
In a sense. I think it's more so in the Cirque version than this one. It's kind of left open, but I knew Freddie Washington, who plays the light-skinned Black daughter. And she told me when she did Imitation of Life, she said the one line in the film that she really did not like was the line where the daughter looks in the mirror and says she wants to be white. And Freddie Washington always felt that Imitation of Life was not explaining that it's not that she wants to be white for the sake of whiteness, but that she wants white opportunities. And Freddie Washington said she told John Stahl, the director, and Stahl, who from what Freddie Washington said was fairly sympathetic and sensitive to her, and he would not change the line. He said, but if you feel that way, he said, you've got to play it that way. And she said, that's what she tried to do. But this is the thing, what you're mentioning, Ben, it's not really clear enough to us in terms of the script as to what's going on.
I think it's very clear why she wants to do it. So it's not that she's not racist. She doesn't dislike Black people. She just sees, because of her particular skin tone, sees an opportunity or sees a series of opportunities that are there for her that would not be there if she pals around with her Black mother.
Yeah, there are all these rumblings in the film about capitalism. And of course, it's coming out during the Depression when some people are questioning whether or not the capitalistic system will hold up. And as a subtext in it, and going by what Freddie Washington said, the idea is that in a decadent capitalistic culture, where everything has a value, skin tone, skin color has a value. And that's what the daughter has to play on. But the other thing, Ben, with this is that before this film, Black characters, and even afterwards for a while, they usually played comic servants in Hollywood films. And there were very talented Black actors and actresses who played these roles. But they were not to be taken, their lives were not to be taken seriously. An Imitation of Life, even though it's not examining it, it is indicating and suggesting that there's a race problem in America. And the whole thing about the daughter having to pass to do something with her life, she won't have opportunities otherwise. So this was the impact really of this film. You know, within the African-American community, there were great discussions about this. The Black press wrote about it, Pittsburgh Courier, Chicago Defender, Philadelphia Tribune. And most people were sympathetic to the mother. But at the same time, there was an awareness of what the daughter was going through. And things that weren't said that the audience seeing it filled in. So it was acknowledging something that was there in America.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly depicts Black Americans in a more fully rounded way than prior pictures in the sound era or pictures that really came after it in the sound era. I mean, it's almost like if it had a lasting impact, it's an impact that didn't really hit until after the war.
Precisely. Absolutely, Ben.
All right, Donald, great information as always. Let's take a look at the film. Here it is. From Universal in 1934, Louise Beavers, Claudette Colbert, Warren William, and Freddie Washington. Imitation of Life. Welcome back. I'm Ben Mankiewicz, continuing our conversation of movies that helped shape the culture. We just saw Imitation of Life from 1934. My guest, once again, film historian and writer Donald Bogle. Donald, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Ben. Great to be here.
So that end of Imitation of Life, it feels like a movie moment suddenly where she artificially ends a relationship and a chance at happiness, which nobody wants her to do, right? With Warren William, who's a stand-up guy, so that she doesn't upset her daughter, Jessie. And it comes after the thing we're really interested in, right? Which was the enormous sacrifice and suffering of Delilah, of Louise Beavers, and then Piola's recognition, that's Freddie Washington, recognizing that she'd made a horrible mistake and she's overcome with grief at having sort of at a bare maybe caused her mother's death, but at least allowed her mother to die grief-stricken. And then we get this little movie coda, which I don't really like. But I mean, we have to see what happens to the white people, right? I mean,
precisely. Because the film is supposed to be about the white character that Claudette Colbert plays, just like the remake is supposed to be about the Lana Turner character, but they're not, because these subplots just take over. You know, one thing near the close of Imitation of Life, after the funeral, and it is heartbreaking to see the daughter come back and cry at her mother's funeral. But Claudette Colbert mentions to her daughter that Piola has decided to go back to college, back to school. And there was a thing earlier in the film where her mother wanted her to go to one of the Black colleges in the South.
Right, yeah.
We learned that she's going to go back. And I think that some people interpret that as, you know, she's given up the fight to assert herself. But I think that that her decision to go back, it's something else, that she will go back and acknowledge who she is and maybe fight in another way. But I like that's there. And that.
Oh, I'm 100% with you. I mean, she's going back because she's grief-stricken at what the rift that she caused with her mother who stood by her no matter what, right? Her mother who kept saying, she's not a bad kid. She's not a bad kid. And if something goes wrong, remember, you look after her and she's not a bad kid.